Good evening and welcome to Rural Rebel News. I'm your host, the Rural Rebel, and it's my pleasure to bring you news report number 2. Tonight I will be bringing you stories on government censorship on social media and an interview with the person affected, Craig Cole, whose Facebook page No Consent has been removed after a legal challenge from the government. Have Labor finally admitted that green can't solely be the way to go? Also, New Zealand have announced a tax on cattle excretions. Is this going to be one of the final nails in the coffin of the beef industry in New Zealand? And finally, we'll have a story on S.A.D.S and the fact that experts seem baffled by it. But first up tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk about New Zealand and about the fact that government is set to start taxing cattle excretions, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's just reaching insanity levels at this point, but in what seems to be another effort towards the elimination of the beef industry. They're putting these measures in all over the world, all over the Western world, to make it simply impossible to make a profit farming beef or cattle. And even if they can, they're going to have to increase the price to such degrees that it just becomes even more unattainable for the masses. This is just a further part of the Great Reset, ladies and gentlemen. And there's more examples of these sorts of things happening right around us, even in our own country. These include, I just saw a post a few weeks ago from Queensland Health that they announced that they were researching insect-based foods for the masses to consume. Dan Andrews has introduced interesting amendments to agricultural legislation. Also concerning is nationally, researchers and scientists have advised the Australian government to fence off natural dams on properties that cattle drink from to stop the methane being produced. This is supposedly sustainable through government handouts, but do these farmers want to rely on the government? When you put all of these recent developments together, it paints a severely worrying picture. That, coupled with the strains food chains all over the world are facing, I think it's pretty obvious what they're trying to accomplish, and it's certainly a dangerous precedent for us. So what can we do about it? Well, there's a couple of things. We can start supporting our local farmers markets and our local farmers. We can cut them right out of the decision-making process. And that's one of the most powerful things we can do. And it's something that'll save you a couple of dollars along the way as well. But not only that, there's something that Victorian people can leverage is phoning your local state MPs and asking them what they're doing to ensure a sustainable food future for you, not only you, but your family. It's certainly concerning seeing all of this stuff play out before our eyes, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen, New Zealand government to tax cattle excretions. Now, next up is quite a this one leaves me baffled. And that's the fact that experts are baffled by S.A.D.S, sudden adult death syndrome. I don't understand why they're baffled, but hey, I'll give it to them. Ladies and gentlemen, the experts are baffled. But first off, what is S.A.D.S? Well, S.A.D.S is an umbrella term used to describe unexpected deaths in young people. And by young people, they mean people under the age of 40. And the term is used when postmortems can't identify a cause of death. And I've got a question there, and that's, are they not able to find the cause of death, or are they not looking for the proper one or for the right one? The level of ridiculousness has reached just absurd levels by this stage, surely. But more to these questions, why do the masses refuse to put these pieces together? Will it take them losing their parents, siblings, relatives before they'll see this? Or even then, will their eyes remain closed in relation to Justin Bieber and his partner having an adverse reaction and him continuing on with his vaccination program? What makes them follow so blindly that they can't see this right before their very eyes? Is it ego? Is it arrogance? Is it complete cognitive dissonance to reality? Maybe it's a mixture of all three. But this isn't conspiracies, ladies and gentlemen. We try to avoid those here on The Rule Rebel. This is happening right now to so many of our fellow citizen brothers and sisters, so be sure to keep them in your prayers. The fact that the masses that refuse to see what sort of world is unfolding before their eyes, I guess you could say, is giving me a case of the SADS. On to another very serious topic, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the No Consent for We Are Young and Free Facebook page, ran and owned by Craig Cole, Australia One Victorian coordinator, and recently ran as an independent candidate in the federal election for the seat of Casey. His page was taken down this week by Facebook after the Australian government, yes, the government has put a legal order forth due to breaches of local laws, supposedly, to take down his page, and Facebook has surprisingly agreed with the decision. But this is certainly extremely concerning for all kinds of media outlets on private platforms, but not only media outlets, anyone that wants to speak out against anything their government is doing. How can governments intervene, and have pages completely removed without any right of reply? I can't honestly fathom what we would do if that happened to us or any of our friends, as it's completely unprecedented without criminal charges and warrants. To talk about what these implications not only mean to himself, how he's feeling about it, but what they mean to the rest of us, I've got Craig Cole with me now, an interview I recorded with him earlier. It's great to have him on the broadcast, as always. Here's Craig now. Craig, thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. To start us off, thank you for all the work you do, by the way. It's absolutely fantastic. And but first of all, I'd like you to talk about what it was like receiving this notification and how it's affected you. And maybe if you want to talk a little bit about the no consent page and how it got to where it did.
Good on you, Hank. Thanks for having me on again, mate. You're doing a bang-up job, mate, and just keep doing what you're doing, mate. Always a pleasure. Yeah, just to provide some context, the No Consent for Our Young and Free page, I got that up and running April in 2020. Obviously, when all this scamdemic started.
When a lot of us needed an outlet.
Well, we did, and I've got a skill set that helps people. Been doing that for the last 16 years in the community, so it was just an extension of that. It's grown to just over 36,000 followers, so its saturation is pretty good in terms of getting the message out there. And it's never about me; it's not about my fat head. It's just about getting a message out there and providing comfort for people, which I have done over the last 2 and a bit years. And for a while now, I mean, I would get my 30-day bans like the rest of us, and done about 6 or 7 of those over the 2 years. And but for a while, I'd been getting shadow banned for a while. And I don't know how that works. I mean, apparently some tech people tell me that what happens is that your posts will not appear on people's feeds, or they appear down the bottom. So, the post would go from, 8,000 views or tens of thousands of views to down to 5,000, down to a few thousand. And that was okay. The message was still getting out there. But May 20th come along, and with all this election writ fraud, I did a post about the election writ fraud, and a post with the fraudulent writs, and also a live post. Now, that live post only got about 130 views. So I'm thinking, there's a bit of a problem here. And as you know, as we sit here and speak right now, basically the no consent page is virtually redundant, because even if you go into a search and type in no consent for you and free, it doesn't even come up.
It's been sent into oblivion, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now how that affects me personally, couldn't care less, okay? Because you hit a problem, you work around it, which I'm in the process of trying to work out how we work around that. I've been doing some live posts on my personal page, and also got the Instagram page. If any of you want to jump onto Instagram, it's no consent warrior spirit, or one word, no consent, warrior spirit. So we'll build it up from that. There's other platforms and there's other mediums that I'm discussing with people anyway. Maybe we'll get my own website where they can't touch it. But anyway, that's to be, we'll find out about that as we move forward. But so it doesn't affect me personally, but there's a lot of people, and I get a lot of messages and a lot of people that speak to me at protests and say, thank you, Craig, what your words, provide comfort and, the knowledge as well too. And so I feel for those people that I can't connect with them. But the disturbing thing is, mate, well, first of all, we'll get onto that in a bit, but how I was alerted to it, well, I thought, well, hang on, what's going on here? So I looked at my paid support inbox and there was a message that said restricted access to content due to illegal requests. So I clicked on that. And then what came up was a message that said, when governments believe that something on Facebook violates their laws, they may contact companies like Facebook and ask to restrict the access to that content. Now, this is a legal request, apparently. I've never heard of this before. I mean, people get restricted and banned all over the place. I understand that. But when you've got Facebook actually telling you that there's a legal request from the government, I mean, that's communism. That's flat out censorship.
But a big question is, Craig, is that if they're saying that you've broken laws, then where are the charges? Where's your arrest?
Which laws?
If you've broken these laws, why is Facebook the police and not the actual police?
So there's two.
And then, but then on that same point, Craig, sorry, but then how is Facebook siding on the side of the government?
Correct. So there's two scenarios there. Facebook are just using that as a cop out and a get out. But clearly, there's people that control Facebook that censor everything when you speak up against the government. Now, that's a dangerous precedent. There'll be people on here that might see this and say, oh, well, I don't agree with all what you're saying, Craig, and so you deserve to be censored. Okay, you can have that opinion. However, there'll come a day when you disagree against the government and you want to voice your opinions against the government. The same thing, after this precedent's been set, the same thing will happen to you. This is complete totalitarianism, government control. This is communism. So, there has to be a concern about this. Also, if it's a legal request, well, I haven't been sent any legal documents to, they're making a claim without substantiating or backing that up with proof.
And you don't have a right of reply.
Exactly. There's no right of reply here whatsoever, which is just astounding. So,
well, you said an important word there, Craig, which was precedent. And that's what this is, because I've never heard of this happening to anyone.
No.
And it is quite, a very dangerous precedent, like so many that we've seen over the last 2.5 years. But this is taking it to a whole nother level, just being able to.
Yeah, it is. And when Facebook are admitting that, hey, the government's contacted us, and so we've censored your page because the government's contacted us and asked us to stop. And like I said before, that's communism, and it's a bigger picture because, like I said, even if you don't agree with the content I'm putting forward and my views on things, you can completely disagree. That's fine. However, there'll come a day when you want to speak up against the government because, this is what we've been trying to alert people for the last 2 and a bit years now. This is not about a virus. This is about complete one world government control.
Yep.
And when you have that Muppet Klaus Schwab stating that in the future you will own nothing and be happy, what do you think he's talking about?
Yeah.
This is the one world government control, social credit scores, systems, all the rest of it. This is what they're trying to implement, and silencing people like myself and putting, using that legal requests from the government. That's majorly concerning. And
well, I can't lie, it's extremely concerning for myself, knowing that my page can be taken just like that, and my whole reach and my whole audience is gone at the drop of a hat. That's more than concerning. That honestly worries me quite a bit. And it should worry everyone else out there. So we should be, we should really be making some noise about this, shouldn't we?
Well, we should, mate. But as you know, it is virtually impossible to contact Facebook. They don't have a phone number.
Yeah.
They don't really have an email address. So to even contact them for a right of reply, the cowards that they are, it's basically non-existent. But we'll keep on making as much noise as we can, because that's all we've done for the last 2.5 years. And this is a problem. That's okay. We work around it. Like I said, I'm in discussions with people to get a website happening, and they can't touch it.
They can't touch that sort of stuff. That's right. We've all got to start sort of looking outside that square. But a big point to that, Craig, is that we can't do it. And this goes to all of us that are trying, that will eventually be trying to reach outside of Facebook, is we can't do it without you guys, without each and every one of you coming with us and backing us up over there.
Yeah, then that's exactly right. Now, people say, just stay off Facebook. I have a different opinion. Yes, we could just say, forget Facebook, don't even worry about it. But then we're giving up the fight. Yes, it is frustrating getting banned. Yes, it is frustrating getting your post fact-checked. The fact-checkers, and they're just not even they're just opinion pieces from the far left and the one world government sympathisers. That's all they are. And Facebook admitted that in court in the States. Okay, so I did put a post up on my personal page on that, and I will be putting a post up on the No Consent Warrior Spirit page about the links to that article in the New York Post, mind you, which is a far left sort of newspaper anyway, which I found sort of amusing. But we still got to fight the fight, and we still have to. We can't just have Facebook be a domain of one world government sympathisers and this one world government push. We have to maintain the fight on all levels, mate. So that's why we persist with platforms like Facebook, Instagram, who's owned by Facebook. We know this.
They're a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately it is, and it's frustrating.
It is.
But it's all part of it.
And it's frustrating, for myself having to bite my tongue over certain things, and having to make sure that I'm saying the right things the right way and asking the right questions the right ways. So I'm not upsetting anybody, because it is that easy. Like we say. Well, Craig, thank you so much for joining me on the Rural Rebel tonight. Keep up the fight. Thank you for all you're doing, and I'm sure we'll see you back on the broadcast soon with talking about some more of the madness going on in the world, I'm sure.
Mate, 100%. Can I just give a quick shout out to someone who's very dear to me as well, too?
Absolutely.
A great level of support. That's Wendy. Amazing support. The support she gives, and what she does, and her whole life's been turned upside down as well too, coming along and supporting me and being a rock for me. And you need people like this in your life, as well as a whole bunch of other support I've got behind me, but she's most prevalent, and she's so I just wanted to make a public point of appreciation for Wendy.
Oh, well done. No, I'm the same way. I wouldn't be sitting here without a bunch of wonderful people behind me, encouraging me. So, thank you again, Craig, and we'll see you soon.
Pleasure.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Craig Cole live on the Rural Rebel. A pleasure to have him to explain what this really means for us. Now, on to our last story for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, Ryan Jackson Saw's segment couldn't make it on tonight, just due to some technical difficulties. So this will finish us up, and that is the Labor Party being left with coal on their face. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Labor admits that coal production needs to ramp up. In a recent statement, Labor Resource Minister Madeleine King stated it's equally important for the coal industry to resolve its issues to get coal production back online as soon as we can, so it can continue to participate in power generation during this cold snap. In what might not surprise many people, this shows how willing Labor are to abandon their supporter base, especially because they've gotten in with 31% of the vote. It's certain, this announcement is certain to upset the far left, including their, very dear Greens allies, because they're openly admitting it. We need it, whether we like it or not. Furthermore to this point, Nationals leader David Littleproud stated in a response to the energy crisis, the National Party is comfortable to have that conversation around small-scale nuclear power. Create the environment to have a conversation whereby all political sides put away their predetermined dispositions or assertions for small-scale nuclear and come together in a constructive way, which Anthony Albanese has been talking about. I think this should make it pretty obvious to all of those ravenously chasing after those never-ending green dreams that they're simply not sustainable in the larger scale. And we need to have a much wider discussion about power production methods, including nuclear, which for some reason the majority in government seem unwilling to discuss. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, more flip-flopping from the Labor Party with no thought about policy except to keep printing money and making false promises. And that's the way it is this Tuesday, the 14th of June. I've been your host, the Rural Rebel. Now, if you would like to support this outlet, so when Facebook might eventually come for us, we can weather the storm. We've gone ahead and set up a Patreon account where it's for as little as $3 a month. You can sign up, get a Patreon exclusive report every week, and be able to ensure that this outlet can continue to grow, and not be reliant on Facebook itself. Thank you so much. The link will be right down below. And the second best thing you can do is share this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. You can share it far and wide. So on behalf of myself and the whole Rural Rebel team, we'll see you next time. And as always, we're here to bring you the rural side of the story. Thank you.